I welcome at some point the time to debate these things in a time where rebuttal can be done, and I think it's kind of typical that I'm talking before Mr. Cattasane. I'm sure that things that I will be said will be rebutted, and I will not have the chance once again to, I'm Norma Kryline, 1366 Altmeyer Road, Jasper, Indiana. I'm a pediatrician at Memorial Hospital and Healthcare Center, and I've lived here since 1989. A couple of things that I wanted to cover tonight were the EPA guidelines and how inadequate they are in protecting our health. Thousands of scientists in the country have signed petition after petition in the past 5 years to protest the fact that the EPA, in part because of the executive office, has put our health before the guidelines, particularly on particulate matter. It is expensive to control particulate matter. But up until the past 5 years, the precedent was never set that our health should be secondary to industry in this country. And that changed in 2005. And I have that very well documented, should any of you like to see it. So anyone who would quote current EPA particulate standards as protecting our health is arguing with thousands of concerned scientists across the country who have signed multiple petitions protesting the EPA standards and begging that they be lowered to an acceptable standard. A recent statement, let me find it here. Last week, this was a recent post, the EPA released a report showing that the Clean Air Act will have saved $2 trillion by 2020 and prevented at least 230,000 deaths annually. By 2020, complying with the amendments would prevent 200,000 heart attacks, 17 million lost work days, and 2.4 million asthma attacks, according to the report. And then, speaking of asthma attacks, I want to go on the record again to state that you cannot quote asthma rates in this county as a reflection of air quality. While it may be the only statistic that is out there, it is not an accurate reflection of air quality in this county. It cites hospitalization and ER visits only and does not take into account the significant amount of inflammatory respiratory disease otherwise. Mr. Cattasane continues to cite asthma rates. He was cited several months ago by our county health department for saying that county health officials refute the citizens' statements. And I made a mistake by saying that she issued a press release about that. She did not. She personally, Ms. Ading, I spoke to her this weekend, personally contacted Mr. Cattasane and Mr. Harrisberger to have this statement, which was placed on their website, retracted. It was retracted, but there was no erratum ever made and nothing to correct the public's viewpoint of this. And I also want to state on the record that you cannot use asthma rates to track air pollution in this county. It's not accurate. As a physician, you know, I could tell you, you have to have accurate data, and the conclusions you draw from it have to be accurate as well. There has to be, you can't just pull a study out of the sky and say, this is what that means. And I resent the fact that non-medical people are doing this and that it's taken as a reason to support this power plant. Because it's not. It should not be taken that way. There were other statements as well about dioxins that were retracted. Nothing even mentioned that they were toxic. And that the cancer rates were initially cited as well. There is not a single study at this point that has proven that living at Love Canal causes cancer. But I would challenge any of you to want to live on top of a toxic dump containing 27,000 tons of toxic waste. That's what inaccurately citing articles will do. That is why I became involved in this, is as a physician, I saw that being done, and it was used to sell the project. That is not the right thing to do. Recently, I've spent even more time looking at this. I've spent a lot of times picking brains on this. I've spoken to agriculture people. I've spoken to entomologists. I've spoken to farmers. And I absolutely echo what Mr. Steckler has to say. I hope that you all listen to him. We should be able to live without the influence of corporate chemicals in our culture. I've been chastised as bringing up agriculture as a physician, but Monsanto owns the GMO corn that has been cited frequently, if not exclusively, to control the rootworm. You know, I am not an agriculture person. What I read on species control cited prevention primarily. Cited prevention primarily, not control. It cited the wisdom or being careful about bringing things into the area as a primary source of prevention. And that should be done as a primary source because it is cheaper than control. If I am mistaken on that, then someone please challenge me now. But that is what every source on invasive species has said, is you prevent first because the cost of control is inevitably more expensive than prevention, and the cost of control, as you've heard very eloquently by Mr. Steckler, is going to step on somebody as well if they are interested in true sustainability and renewability. I am going to stop at this point because those are the main points I want to make. I have had serious concerns about statements that I've made, but I would like to save them for a public forum where rebuttal can be achieved. I don't know what's going to be said after I'm done here, but I stand on my reputation in this community. I stand with 27 other physicians who, for various reasons, oppose this, along with many other allied health professionals and many, many people in this community. And I welcome a true public dialogue about this project before it moves any further. Thank you.